One other important module of the 2.1 release is the fraud detection, which was sort of a summer project of one of our interns. And basically we came to the conclusion that there isn't much work done on this area, and we put out the basic basic logic to counter SIP account hijacking, which as you most know, it's an issue which almost definitely will happen on any sort of VoIP platform. There is no absolute sure way of catching all frauded accounts, because as Bogdan was saying earlier, he was giving the example of some guy who all of a sudden starts calling in different directions of the world, and that would be a signal of alarm, but that would also, or a lot of the cases would just be a false positive if you were to write logic which works that way. So we just sticked to creating just an threshold monitoring system, which users can provision and define all sorts of per day limitations. These are simply calls per minute made by a user, duration of the call, number of sequential calls fired to the same destination, concurrent calls, and total calls. Note that all of these parameters strongly relate to subscriber destination pairs. The intern who wrote it is Andrei Datko. He chose to take care of college and leave RT in his fourth year. So what we're going to do today is present a dispatching OpenSIPS with different fraud profiles to two SIP trunks. I'm going to use the script we saved earlier. So now we should have basic dialog support. Let's give it a test. Okay. So right before routing out the invite, we are going to do some dispatching and extract the fraud profile set for that given trunk and do the obvious matching of that user's statistics. Let's first check out the dispatcher table. See how it looks like I've pre-provisioned some of this stuff. So our first of SIP-P, and it has, as you can see here, several attributes. Let's say the second is something internally defined, and fraud profile 1, and the second one with fraud profile 2. I have not yet created the fraud profiles. I'm going to copy paste from the site, from the tutorial. So fraud. Great. Okay, this is why we love 1080p, right? This is just awful to watch. Maybe we should just look into the insert query. This is where Alex should come in with the control panel, to save the day. Okay, so how do I? Let's just
maybe do a /G in the end.
/G. Oh yeah, right. Forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's insert it again. So this is our first profile. We have 4 rules. One matches daytime, looking at the first row here. One matches daytime, or most of it, something, during Monday, Friday, then the other half of the day. And the other rules handle, are these overlapping? So, no, there are 3 intervals. So the day is split into 3, and then the weekend. Okay, so I was thinking of adding a new profile, but okay, I should not have done that, because now we have identical thresholds. So, but anyway, I guess it could serve as a purpose, nevertheless. So we have the 2 fraud profiles and the 2 trunks. Let's write the routing to them and see how we can use the fraud checking. This is more important than provisioning. So let's dispatch. I think I called it 1. Let's just do round robin between them. So algorithm 4. Okay, let's load up, because I'm not sure this script has dispatcher. Yeah. Hey, and we don't even have fraud. We've first loaded the fraud, then its dependency, and setting up some DP URLs. We also need to configure the attributes, because we were saying that we extract the trunks profile, its fraud detection profile. So we need to tell dispatcher to put our, I never get this right, is it with an S or documentation to the rescue? Okay, it's with an S. And we're going to call it trunk attributes. Okay. So let's do some basic tests. Okay. Sorry if I'm a bit boring, but I didn't get much sleep lately.
It's too much now.
And whose fault is that?
Yeah. It's light.
It's a big city, so
The system.
yeah. Okay, so let's see if we extracted the attributes correctly. Let's give it a restart. And we did something. We need to load routing as well. Great, and everybody needs a DB URL. The theme of the day. Okay. So let's check out the logging. Okay, so as expected, it just round robins over them and fetches one or two. Great. So now that we have the attributes, we need to parse them a bit. So if you haven't heard of transformations, this is the proper time to learn about the script. It's right here in the manual. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with them. Make sure to read them in depth before. It's a good learning. It's right here in the documentation manual, and there you go, everything you need. So we are going to use the fraud module finally. Check fraud. This is the main function and the only one. This is the subscriber we're checking for, and this is his dial number. And we're going to use the parsed value. So we're going to use the select transformation. And it's 0 indexed because we are C nerds. What? Oh. One second. Okay. No, I did it, but I'm not sure why it's not working. Maybe because
From view you send a click on Zoom.
yeah, this
From the view menu or the cursor window.
I think it's a terminal thing on this X Ubuntu. It just does not have Control Plus. I don't know why.
You can click on the view menu.
Oh, view menu. Got it. Yeah, right. I wrote the script for this, but really don't know why it doesn't work anymore. Let's see, maybe. No, this is my script working now. I don't know what happened to it. Yeah, but it's not bad. Okay, let's just get over it. So check fraud should it is. By the way, I completely forgot to mention. I'm not sure why I didn't even mention it in the presentation. The way it works, or we designed it, was that it wouldn't have to cut any calls or something. It is just meant to be an alerting system. So you go in, you check the error logs, see how your thresholds behaved. Maybe you really should have let your users make 3-hour calls. Just an example. Because on a Saturday you suddenly start noticing that you're getting 200 reports, and it's no reason to panic. So it is just meant to be an alerting mechanism, and it makes use of the event route. So you can fire up events. Let's load it up. You can either fire up events in your script, or you can send them remotely via all sorts of dispatching mechanisms. And let's write the respective routes. This is what the two events are called. First, you get a warning. I didn't have time to go much into the structure of the warning parameters. I'm looking for a tutorial. But here is an overview on how they work. Basically, this is the table structure. You define two thresholds. So for calls per minute, you define a basic warning threshold. Whenever this is crossed, the warning route will be fired, and if the respective user keeps firing up, alarmingly strange patterns, it goes to critical. And the same for duration of one call, or total number of calls on that interval, because you can see here each rule has its interval. So with each jump to the next one, everything is obviously completely reset. And you have concurrent and sequential calls. So I'm just going to grab everything from the tutorial here, because there is way too many variables. And we do the same for, let's just copy. We do the same for the critical route. Okay. Now that we've set up the event alarms, we don't even need to check the return code of check fraud, because, as I said earlier, it's just a, something that alerts in the background. Let's see how. Oh. Let's see how it behaves, or maybe. And we find there one. What was he doing? I'm just curious. Oh, it's still the guy who when it ran out of memory. Jesus. Okay. So, great. Fix up. Also, this is runtime. So it seems that Android didn't let us put variables here. Let's just go with profile one. It seems to. I'll open up a GitHub issue on that, and we'll just roll with the demo. Yeah, great. So we should let's make some less logs and we can increase the number of calls and trigger some events finally. So we put it into light debug mode, and I don't know, let's fire it up. So right now it's just filling up logs with all sorts of warnings because we we define such low thresholds like I don't know, 3 calls or 2 simultaneous calls, from the examples here on the tutorial. Yeah, these are like a bit of toy values, if I can say so. So for our profile one, if we look at it on the website, let's identify where it will trigger the first one. So to me it looks like this should, so we should hit the CPM, the calls per minute warning. And it goes with both. Yeah, for some, that's correct. It's a bit misleading with the attributes shown first because it's using the first one anyway. So let's fix that a bit to get some clean output, and also new branch. Let's clean up those as well. Yeah, we gotta have something at least. So. And generate some fresh new warnings. Okay, so we first reached the warning thresholds after our pretty hardworking user manages to make 100 calls per second for 20 seconds, and it immediately throws in the warning event. And afterwards, for all subsequent calls, since he's right now exploiting the service by throwing so many calls, we reach the critical levels and just flood up the logs for the admin to check them out. Yeah, this is basically the bread and butter of the fraud detection module. Yeah, I will, during the next presentations, I will look into the variable issue. So we can use variables as well. Not really sure what happened there, but nevertheless, I guess I managed to prove the point of the module and how to use it in a per trunk or safe destination specific fraud profile. So I'm not sure how Razvan, how long? I mean, I completely lost track of time.
Yeah, you can have the questions if there are some.
So, right, if there are any questions regarding the...
Anyway, to limit the amount of time to go through the warning or critical, because if someone sends an email, it's going to send a million emails.
This is a good, it's a good point to make. No, currently there is absolutely no limit. It just, throws. Yes, but we did this. This is a pretty non-standard test, right? I mean,
No, every single call will trigger it. Just, if it's a lot, okay. But if you're doing something else, it might.
yes, I'm pretty sure there is some. I was thinking about rate limiting already included in the script code, but we should. The module should have something to control this as well. I think to not fire up that many warnings. It's a good point to make. Yeah, we.
So the original approach of the module was the module monitors and rewards. So that's the purpose of the module. It should not take any action. You can have separate tools like instantaneously disabling the account, that's not installed, or you can do other things. Yeah, so you can make the feedback, let's say, you mentioned further report by whatever kind of action you do. Because some people, depending on what kind of configuration you have different ways of, let's say, blocking. Maybe you can go like tables, or you can go at account level, or maybe you have access directly to the device to do remote provisioning. You can go there, push in the password to the device, and that's it. So
Maybe create the RAM to the line.
yeah, that's it. Capturing you can capture the event actually, and you know, small tool and then trigger whatever kind of application you want or kind of an action. But the module doesn't want to implement the action because that's basically your scenario. No, the idea is if you want to do the first action, to detect and then block it. I mean, just detecting is not
I have.
You can read per account, so that's the idea, because you can get the idea which account is subject to the hijacking or fraud, so you can disable just that particular account. Well, yes, for the first detection of the question.
Anyway, guys, the more I think about this, the more it makes sense for the module to keep doing what it does, and for you to specially handle this stuff, right? I mean, you can just throw some sort of timestamp-based value in a local cache and just to say, okay, too many warnings, don't send an email. That's it. So you should explicitly handle that and let the module just throw a call. So the route should be run. Okay. Any more questions or suggestions regarding the fraud detection initiative?
Is there a destination group instead of just prefix? Like you can bundle together known fraud destinations and have the same rule apply to all those destinations?
I'm not sure I follow. We have the option to define different fraud profiles, right? And different groups with the OpenSIPS dispatching mechanisms, either dynamic routing, dispatcher. So you can define as many profiles as you want. So I don't know. Please repeat the question. Maybe I didn't understand it.
Like here is prefix 99.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But if there was a way to have many prefixes or a group of destinations from one.
It's the segment we call the checkpoint. And also, if you match a group that you have to find and manage in the script, because you have a lot of flexibility there, right? If you match that group, then you can call the cross protection. That's it.
Basically,
So basically what you are asking, you want to write a single rule for different prefixes, right? Yeah, that's possible. That is possible. Actually, that's the way it works. So you should use the same group for all the prefixes.
I got it. So you can still use, just like Ruslan said, you can use the same profile ID here and group multiple prefixes into it. So yes, you can definitely do that. So if these features currently provided by the module seem to be sufficient, you can always recheck the tutorial we've prepared for it on the website, and also the documentation. Also, make sure to post any kind of suggestions or potential improvements, because it's just a beginning idea.
I have another question.
Yeah.
The calls for it runs in a prior time frame.
Definitely.
So I want to do, because that could be Monday to all the weekend, and the guy in 1 hour he does a lot of calls. I want to see not over the entire weekend that you can have 10,000 calls, but over 1 hour I want to be able to do more than a certain amount of calls.
Then the check window should be 1 hour.
Every hour, another group. Check it on the time.
As far as I know, it's configurable per room.
For a group, but if I have a whole weekend, the rule is a long time.
Yes.
So I want to get not on the weekend, but every hour to do it. And I figure only
So basically, you want to somehow cascade through rules or something like that. Something like that.
Another option over the time. The first one was 5 times.
Yeah. You can specify that. You can specify the limit and the interval. What? Probably, yeah. I don't know how you could specify. I mean, you want to write a single rule that has different. Oh, I see. No, you should definitely write. It is not different.
We should have a microphone passing around.
Yeah. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's basically it with the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and yes, sorry for the technical issues. It happens. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a 30 minutes break now and see you all for